Very good morning to all of you, to all those who are attending online also. Very good morning to all of you, to all those who are attending online also. A very warm welcome to all of you to this session. We are all in the first half of the new year, and for UPSC season, this is the prelim season. And as we close on February and start on March, the bells start ringing very much because May can be very, very near. The idea of prelims has its own challenges, has its own advantages. Many times we make prelims to be a very big obstacle to us, that we feel prelims is the ultimate thing to conquer. But many times we also fail to realize prelims can be as simple as it is if we understand the nature of the exam and apply our knowledge very clearly. It is very rightly said by many of them who clear prelims regularly that at one side there is knowledge and the other side there is success. How do you bridge knowledge to success is converting the idea of knowledge to skills. Prelims preparation and prelims application requires this idea of converting what you have studied as knowledge to skill. And that skill applied in the right manner will ensure prelims will not become an obstacle. We all understand, and I wish all of you should understand, the real challenge comes up in mains. So in this direction at India for IAS, we have multiple initiatives. We have programs like Think Before Viewing, which is an exclusive test series. We have Prelims Doctor, which is a test series come crash course based program. Very soon we will be coming up with what we call as Prelims Habit. Prelims Habit is a dedicated program where we have 1 hour test every day in the morning between 7 to 8, where 50 questions every day for 50 days, 30 questions of GS, 20 questions of CSAT. So close to 2,500 questions of comprehensive practice that we ensure through Prelims Habit. All this gives you enough practice to ensure that your idea becomes a skill and you improvise. But many times it also becomes important that you listen from an achiever, somebody who has ensured that he develops the required skill and has continuously cleared prelims with ease. Many of us also face trouble at the first attempt, and we ensured that trouble doesn't remain one and we cleared prelims continuously. So what is that we developed to ourselves? What is that we told ourselves? What is that you can draw from us? That is somewhere these orientation sessions will definitely help you. And on a Sunday, making time for us, we have amongst us a very good friend and somebody who has been helping students from the time that he started preparation, a mentor, a guide, and a friend to everybody who meets him. Thanmay presently serving as Tahsildar with Government of Karnataka and who is also an All India rank holder with UPSC. Many times we forget that he is an achiever with UPSC also. He was an All India rank holder and he chose to take up Karnataka services by his preference. Otherwise, he has cleared prelims multiple times, mains, is given multiple interviews, and he also holds an All India rank. So with UPSC, he has enough to guide each one of you. Specific to prelims and mains, he's been a wonderful mentor and guide. So on a Sunday, in spite of having busy schedules on weekdays, he's a married man very recently, so in all that attempt he's made time for us, for which we are extremely thankful to you. And I hope this session to all of you who are attending here offline and online will be very, very thoughtful and you have a lot more to take away. Thank you so much, Thanmay, to have made time for us.
Thank you so much. Shall I take over? So I thank Prashant, and it's relatively very formal. So I thank Prashant and all the faculties and non-faculty staff of India for IAS for giving me this opportunity to understand how exactly things works for the prelims and sharing my insights with you guys in next couple of hours. Okay. So thank you everyone. So let's get into the business as soon as possible. PPT. Next slide. ಬರೋದು? ಓಕೆ. 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 So, good morning, everyone. So before starting the session, I would like to understand the crowd. So this will be not a one-way channel of communication. This will be largely a interactive based session. So where you will be giving the input sometimes, we will be discussing some pointers sometimes, and it will be largely interactive rather than a single mode of communication from one end. Okay, so when it becomes two-way communication, that would be more beneficial for you people. So, and you may able to understand, you will definitely able to understand what are all the important pointers to be taken, especially with respect to the preparation of the prelims. Okay, you need not to frighten to ask any trivial questions in between, and if you have any doubts in between, or if you want to share your insights or your own analysis, whatever it may be, please be free to express in this platform. Okay, so first of all, how many of you are giving the prelims for the very first time? Okay, so how many of you already attempted the prelims? Okay, so how many of you already cleared the prelims? Nobody. Okay, so I need to assume couple of factors before starting the session. So the first assumption would be you have been preparing from at least 1 year, right? So you have completed all the basic subject at least one time. So you have gone through the UPSC papers at least one time. So you have solved couple of tests or test series or couple of questions before this session, right? Okay. So probably you people are studying in library, or probably you have been in contact with many people from last 1 year. So you've been seeing the people who will be doing a lot of hard work, but they may not able to clear the prelims at every point of time, means at every year. Or you have been seeing certain guys in the library, they do a lot of hard work, they will be studying 12 hours, 14 hours a day, and they will be solving multiple test series, still they are not able to make it into the prelims list. Probably you have seen it, right? So probably you come across, he has been studying from 3 years, 4 years, whatever it may be. So what are all the basic reasons for that? Why people are able to clear the prelims? Why people are not able to clear the prelims? First of all, try to understand that everybody is serious candidate. If someone is not at all serious, he has not been studying or she has not been studying, so obviously she will not able to clear the prelims. That is something else. So they will be spending a lot of years in Chandra Layout or Old Ranch Engineering or New Delhi, and they will be going to somewhere else. That is one category. We are not talking about the first category. We are talking about the serious candidates category who have been working very hard, but some are getting into the prelims list, some are not getting into the prelims list. So what are the basic reasons behind it? What do you think? Like, you should open up. Why people clear prelims? Why people may not able to clear the prelims? It's a very simple question.
I can talk. Anybody, please feel free, please express, please be interactive.
You may quote the reasons that you know, whatever it may be. It might be trivial, serious, non-serious, whatever it may be. What are all your thoughts?
Sir, probably I feel that they might not have analyzed the weightage of the topic, sir. When it comes to polity, Parliament carries more weightage, sir. So in that way, they have to work upon that. That is one aspect I feel, sir.
Okay, it's a very good point. Okay, so what do you mean by tricks?
Some tricky questions.
Whether it may be a tricky questions or tricks.
Like UPSC will give 20 questions very hard, sir. They struggle to face that, sir. They leave other 80 questions.
Okay, okay. Next. So they struggle to handle 20 questions. Okay. Next point. Okay. Next.
So they don't have conceptual clarities.
So who is saying that? So they don't have conceptual clarity. So why people doesn't get conceptual clarity? Revision. Okay. Next. So they don't know how to solve the questions. Next. Next. Common sense questions. Okay. Next. CSAT. Next. They usually get frightened in 2 hours. They don't know how to handle the 2 hours that most of the people might have faced. Next. Huh?
Language problem.
Language problem with respect to Hindi or English?
Sir, English.
Okay. So you may not able to understand the question if I am not wrong. Okay. Next. Lack of confidence in the examination hall. Yes. Why? Oh, that is a very big reason. I appreciate it. What will happen if I fail in this attempt? Okay. So that will make you underconfident.
We might have prepared for a whole time. For example, in test series also for a week, we might have prepared well. After the results, if we score less marks, we feel demotivated to write the next test.
That is okay. Yeah. But why you feel underconfident in the examination hall?
All these test series marks might influence.
It's a very good point actually. So sometimes the question, like the few questions might flare up in your mind, whether the test series are actually evaluating our preparation or whether they are asking some questions which are completely out of the blue. Okay, next.
Sir, many students are starting preparation with standard books. For example, in Lakshmikant, everybody knows democratic government. For some reason, many students don't know the basics. For example, many students don't know what is the democracy in basic terms. We are going to reading like standard books.
Okay, okay. So, matlab conceptual clarity, otherwise probably they don't know the basics properly. That's what you are saying, right? Like they don't know what exactly the parliamentary system of government or presidential system of government, but they are mugging up the facts like anything. Am I correct? Okay. Next. So I largely agree with all the questions or all the reasons that you have stated. So can anyone take a pick of it so that at the last we'll be discussing everything so that I can able to understand so how exactly you people are. Okay. So this session is so you know the problems, right? So you know the problems, you know the 10 reasons why people don't clear prelims. So this session largely talks about the solution for all the 10 reasons or X reasons where people may not able to clear the prelims although they put lot of efforts. Here there is a condition apply. They have to be a serious candidate. What do you mean by serious candidates? They have to study regularly. They should be serious about their preparation and they should have some basic dedication. After that, if these 10 questions are haunting you, This session will try to help you out to understand how to tackle all the 10 problems or other problems which are largely obstructing us to clear the prelims. Clear? So you have quoted all the 10 reasons. It's completely okay. But one thing that you have not specified. Next page, Anna. Okay. Okay. But fortunately or unfortunately, nobody has quoted that. Like one guy has quoted like there are a lot number of questions from Parliament. We may not be able to address it properly. But other than him, like he has quoted to a certain extent. Other than that, nobody has said people forget to analyze the PYQs. And largely in the ocean of knowledge, too many test series, too many current affairs compilation, too many videos, too many strategies, we often forget very basic element of preparation, that is what to study, what not to study, and how to study. How many of you know what to study, what not to study, and how to study for the prelims with respect to any topic that you have or any subject that you have already studied? What to study, what not to study, and how to study. How many of you know it? Like, it doesn't mean that you have to know 100%. Nobody is 100% here. So I'm just trying to understand, you people have got to know how to study, what to study, what not to study, and how to study. Anyone? For any favorite subject that you have. Probably few people like environment, few people, right? For everyone, Lakshmikant, polity is one of the most favorite subject. With respect to polity itself, you can easily talk. So if you take a polity book, how exactly you are going to approach that polity book? Which are all the topics that you will be eliminating? Which are all the topics you will be giving more focus? In certain topics, you have to give the more focus like Parliament. How exactly you will be studying? Have anyone thought about it? Then how exactly you are studying the Lakshmikant? Okay. So, we need to understand this first. For example, you have taken the admission in India for IAS, right? So, probably you are from Jayanagara, you are from Nelmangla, you are from Banaswadi, whatever it may be. So, what is the first thing that you have done to get into the get into the doorsteps of the India for IAS? Research, search, or Google Map. So the Google Map has taken you to the India for IAS. So what is the Google Map or the direction to study for prelims? In which way you will be studying it? Just reading the NCERTs or the standard books, or how exactly you will be studying it? What is the compass? What is the compass? Someone might say it's syllabus. Okay, it's syllabus. Syllabus itself is 7 bullet points. Is it possible to study the syllabus? History and ancient history and medieval India and modern India. Is it possible to go through each and every aspects of it? So, in order to understand what to study, what not to study, and how to study, you should need a compass. So, how do you derive the compass? ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು 50 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಯಿಂದಾನೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದಟ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸಿಂದ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದಟ್ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಹಳೇದಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಡಿ ಬಸ್ಸು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ. ಸೊ ಆನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ this is my compass to clear the prelims, or this is my compass to understand WWH. The compass is PYQs. So you have gone through the previous year papers. So there are two differences between just going through the previous year papers and analyzing the previous year papers. How many of you analyze the previous year papers? You have analyzed. Please. Please share your insights to the class. Mike.
Sir, I have analyzed the past 10 years question papers for 4 to 5 subjects, sir. So basically what I do is, first thing, which questions are coming from which topics, sir. For example, as I said, Parliament carries more number of weightage in polity. And also I need to segregate which will come under prelims and which will come under mains, sir. When it comes to prelims, Parliament, President and Governor, these kind of topics will carry more weightage. When it comes to mains, pressure groups will come, civil society organizations will come. But pressure group and civil society organizations question will not come in the prelims, sir. So in this way, I'll get to know which are coming under prelims and which are not coming under prelims, sir. So this is first criteria. And second thing is, most of the time the themes will be repeated, sir. When it comes to economy, the questions on food processing or supply chain management will be almost one and the same. Whether it will be impact, challenges, and the measures to tackle the problems. This is another point I have analyzed.
Good analysis. Anybody analyzed in any other way or in the similar way? First of all, why you have analyzed the previous year papers? First thing, why you have analyzed the previous year paper?
Sir, because, sir, that is the one which will take me to the success, right, sir?
Okay. So in one or the other way, you need to understand the demand of the examination. Until and unless you don't know the demand of the examination, you are not delivering to the objective of the exam. Until and unless you don't know the demand of anything in the life, for example, it may be relationship or it may be any facets of life. Until and unless you don't know the demand of the opposite party, how do you understand him or how do you understand her? You need to understand the demand of the process and then you should work accordingly. So how exactly you will set the demand? The demand will be set through analysis. After analysis, you will come to know what to study, what not to study, and how to study. Then you will be approaching all the sources that you have through this prism, where you know what is important for prelims. And after going through the sources, you will understand these many topics are important in certain subject, where I have to give more weightage. Then accordingly, you will start to revise. Then you will be executing the knowledge in the test series. That is how the overall prelims process works, and I will be elaborating on it. So how many of you have how many of you got to know that this is the process that we need to follow in your previous analysis or your previous understanding? So first question is, why you have not analyzed the previous year papers? Like, I need to understand the reason. You are too occupied with the classes, or nobody has told you to analyze the previous year papers. What? Or you didn't come across such kind of idea whether we need to analyze the previous year papers. What was hindering you to analyze the previous year papers? That is the major problem. So everybody say that analyze the previous year paper, analyze the previous year paper, but nobody is teaching how to analyze the previous year paper. That is the major problem, and I am going to address that fundamental problem in this session. Okay, so how to analyze, then completion of syllabus. Okay, exactly. So you want to get 100 out of 100 marks, so you are not giving any, you are not analyzing the paper till the subjects are done, right? Okay, next. Huh? Next. Revision. So you are too occupied in the revision so that you didn't get the time to analyze the previous year paper. Is it right? Okay. So in order to complete the subject, in order to revise any subject that you have already gone through, the analysis of the previous year papers is the compass where you will understand what to study, what not to study, and how to study. Okay. So moving on to the PPTs. So the whole PPT. So in this class, we'll try to understand why we need to analyze the previous year papers, how to set the demand for the prelims process, what are all the important stages in the prelims preparation, and how to, the next one is, the last part is, what are all the important things that you have to keep in mind, and the most important thing is don'ts. So there are certain mistakes that people will commit again and again. We'll try to understand those mistakes, and you should avoid those mistakes in your preparation phase. So, okay, so consider a person So, consider a person who wants to clear prelims in 2025. I go with a very crude terms and with a very basic level. So, what are all the people usually follow? There are certain thumb rules that you need to follow. So, what you will be doing, what I will be doing, if I want to clear prelims, I will go through the NCERT, I will go through the standard books, and I will take the test series. Clear? It is a standard format. But here we need to understand how we should be going. So the direction part. So any examination process requires three important aspects. The first one is knowledge acquisition. You will be acquiring the knowledge through NCERTs, test series to a certain extent, and standard books and lectures. You will be acquiring the knowledge. And after acquiring the knowledge, you will be managing the knowledge through the what? Revision. After revising one or two times or one time, whatever it may be, you will be executing the knowledge in the test series. You take any examination in the world, whether it may be prelims, mains, or whatever it may be, there will be three important components in any preparation. You will be acquiring the knowledge, you will be managing the knowledge, and you will be executing the knowledge. So whoever who are able to clear the prelims with respect to the prelims contest, if they are able to clear the prelims, they have managed all these components very well. If someone is not able to clear the prelims, probably he has failed in KA or KM or knowledge execution. You need to understand where exactly you are failing if you are not able to clear in the previous attempts. If you are giving it the very first time, you need to make sure that you should not commit any mistakes in KA, KM and knowledge execution part. Okay. So in the next couple of minutes, we will try to understand what is KA and all these elements. So as I have already told, that many people who have been investing lot of hours, many years in prelims preparation itself, they may not able to clear the prelims. Why? Because they are putting lot of efforts, they are acquiring lot of knowledge, but they are not acquiring in the right direction. If someone is too much invested in ancient India, medieval India and modern India, neglecting polity, environment and geography, he may not able to clear the prelims in the next 5 years also. For example, in polity, if he is not focusing on historical background to the constitution or fundamental rights, fundamental duties, DPSP, parliament, governor and center-state relationship, instead of that, he is largely focusing on non-constitutional body, constitutional body, political parties, he may not be able to clear the prelims in the next 5 years. Especially, for example, if you come to the economy, he is largely neglecting the banking part, RBI part, and macroeconomic part like GDP, GNP, or it might be money market. Nowadays, capital market is largely focusing on something else, which are largely analytical in nature, mugging up each and every fact in the economic survey or budget. He may not be able to clear the prelims in the next 5 years. So, whatever the knowledge that you are acquiring, that has to be acquired in the right direction. So, the force plus direction will give you the result. That is a fundamental formula in physics. If you are putting too much of force but not in the right direction, you will not harness the result. The same applies to UPSC. The KA, KM and KE part has to go in the right direction. If it doesn't go in the right direction, sorry, the results will not come as you expected. That is the first thumb rule. So, we should be understanding these components very well before starting our preparation itself. Otherwise, now you are at the one stage, you have completed all the subject to a certain extent. Probably in the next 75 days and 80 days, you will be revising the things. You will be segregating the things or consolidating the knowledge. At this point of time, if you miss the direction, if you miss these components, probably you may not be able to make it up because you are losing or you are forgetting the fundamentals itself. Clear? So, how to set the demand or how to set the direction? The first and foremost thing is it possible to remember each and every line of all the sources, NCERT or standard books or test series? Or is it necessary to remember all the facts in the above sources? It's not necessary also, it is not possible also. Then which are all the factors or topics or dimensions that we need to remember, and which are all the dimensions or topics which should intelligently neglect? So we are going to that part. So how to set the demand of the examination so that our direction can be defined and results can be harnessed. So many people might present you many ideas. There are various ideas in markets. From the last 1 year, you have been going through various videos, strategies, topper stock, whatever it may be. So one thing that is largely evident in each and everyone's topper stock or in each and every strategic or logical video is understanding the PYQs, because they have already given us a lot of evidences. We need to trace them properly and then we have to set and then we should move ahead. So how we will be setting the demand? So many people have told that we don't know how to analyze the previous year papers. Many people will tell again and again, analyze the previous year papers, previous year se question aata hai, pad lo. But how to analyze it? We have to go through the certain questions, and after that we can able to understand how the questions are coming up. Okay. So the most and favorite topic of everyone is polity. So in polity in 2024 we got this question. So how many of you know it? We got this. In which year we got this question? 2020? 100%. Okay. So this question talks about what? Right to privacy, fundamental rights. Why UPSC has been asking question on fundamental rights? See, polity itself is a Indian constitution. If you refer the syllabus, there are various pointers into it. Indian polity and some political structure, philosophy, something like that. So why they have specifically picked up fundamental rights in 2024 paper? What is the reason behind it? The first and foremost question is, pointer is, it is in current affairs. So in current affairs, there were a lot of issues also. There is an issue between various politicians also. There will be an issue with various other aspects of politics also, whether it may communal harmony, religious clashes, whatever it may be. So why they are picking only fundamental rights? There are a lot of issues in the market, especially the political news. Since it's a polity, why they are not picking up the fights between two different personalities in two different political parties. Why they are picking only the fundamental rights? Because it is very fundamental to our existence. That is the second pointer. Fundamental to existence, food bhi hota hai, air bhi hota hai, water bhi hota hai. So why they are not asking questions on that? So what is the reason? So whatever the 2 pointers that I mentioned, that is fairly true. Okay, it was in news, whatever it may be. So why they are picking? What is the basic reason? Because it is a third chapter in Lakshmikant. Would they refer Lakshmikant to set the paper? Then why? Because, why this question? Because UPSC has been asking questions on fundamental rights right from 2011. In 2011, the pattern got changed. You got to know that, right? Before 2011, there were 2 papers for prelims, like GS paper and 1 optional paper. In 2011, they've changed the pattern and they've made it into 2 GS paper. First paper is purely GS, second paper is CSAT. After 2015, they made it to paper 2, just a compulsory paper where someone has to score 1/3 of the total marks. That is that 66 marks itself has become very difficult in these days because most of the people are duping in CSAT itself. That is altogether a different story. So why this question? Because in 2022 and 23, or I don't know the exact year, we got a same question on fundamental rights. So the 2024 question was already repeated in 2021. The same question was asked in 2024. In which exam such kind of questions will be asked? This question is 79th question in 2021. Right to privacy is protected under the article constitution of what? 21. The same question. Oh, 1 sec. Oh. Idi India. ಇದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಂದೇ ಹೋಗ್ತಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ
ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಅದು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಹೌದಾ ಹಾಂ ಸರಿ ಓಕೆ So the 76th question is nothing but 79th question of 2021. Under which of the following articles of the Constitution of India has the Supreme Court of India placed right to privacy? The same question with almost the same options. So why this question? Because UPSC has been focusing on fundamental rights from 2011. So this was the question in 2021. So one question talks about Article 21. The second question talks about what? Article 14. So why UPSC as actually in 2024 it has, because there was a question in 2021 prelims. So why there was a question in 2021? Because there were 2 questions in 2020. It also talks about what? The articles of Constitution which safeguards one right to marry the persons of one's choice. Right to marry is something related to life, right? So it should be Article 21 only. So again the same question on Article 21. Here, what? Which one of the following categories of fundamental rights incorporates protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? Huh? So in 2021 also you got question on right to equality. In 2020 also you got question on right to equality. In 2021 also we got question on Article 21. 24 also we got question on Article 21. In 2020 also we got question on Article 21. So why these many questions were asked in 2020? Because these were the questions which has been asked by UPSC on fundamental rights from 2011. If you trace it back to 1960, from 1969, they have been asking questions on fundamental rights. Since the pattern got changed in 2011, we are largely restricted our analysis to 2011. So these were the questions which were asked on fundamental rights in the last 15 years. In 2018 also there was a question on right to privacy. These are all very easy questions where most of the people will commit the mistakes. There are 30-35 questions which are very basic to your understanding of the prelims or any subject. There you should not commit any mistakes. You should not commit single mistakes in first those 30-35 questions. What is the cutoff for prelims, GS1 prelims? 100 plus, no. 90 to 95. So you need how many questions? 45 questions. Manlo, you have to score like you have to get 55 questions get right because you will be committing some mistakes, whatever it may be. So 30 to 35 questions. That means 70 marks out of 100 marks. Matlab 70% of your total cutoff marks can be easily snatched through such kind of simple questions. People, as somebody has specified in the reasons that we have discussed, we may not be able to attempt 20 questions, most difficult 20 questions out of 100 questions. We are not hunting for those 20 questions. Ideally, you should leave those 20 questions as soon as possible because you don't know the answer. So it's almost like playing a cricket. Full toss ball, you have to hit 6. Yorker, you have to play very safely. If it is an in-swing ball, you have to avoid it. So you will be leaving such kind of easy questions and you will be targeting on the very hard questions, and after that probably including me will start to blame the examination. The exam was very difficult. So actually CDS, NDA, KAS prelims is very difficult. UPSC prelims is one of the most easiest exam because it is very predictable. Probably you got to know from many people that we have to study everything under the sun. कुछ भी पूछ सकता है वो. They might ask any question. That is not the case at all. I have been doing this analysis from 2018. And I have been using the same PPTs in 2025 also. If in India for IAS invites me after 2 years, I will use the same PPT because that is the pattern. These are all the PPTs that I used to teach in 2019-20 when I was in Insights IAS. I was teaching in Insights IAS. So the overall approach is same. There is no much difference to it. There are certain minor additions that you have to do. I will explain after some time. So right against exploitation, the same question was asked in 2021 prelims. It was already asked in 2017. So this is how the overall pattern of the prelims. How many of you analyzed or written down such kind of analysis? Like you have noted down and you have prepared a separate notes for it. So the first thing that you have to do is this. You have to analyze, understand and set the demand, and then go through all the NCERT standard books that you have. Once you understand this, once you got to know the questions that UPSC has been asking in fundamental rights, the way you read the fundamental rights in the Lakshmikant will obviously differ. You will go through the prism of the previous year papers while you approaching the subject. That is what the direction is. Reading each and every line of fundamental rights also doesn't serve the purpose. You need to understand what to study, what not to study and how to study. So in 2024, we got a question on 92nd question on genetically modified crops. So genetic engineering is one of the most hot topic from where UPSC has been asking question one or the other year, or in 1 year, there are 3 questions in single page itself, 91, 92, 93. In 2021, there has 3 questions in single page that is completely related to genetic engineering. How many of you identified genetic engineering is a theme? You will be studying the NCR, science and technology, right? How many of you identified genetic engineering is a theme? You identified. Have you identified the core dimensions from where they are asking the questions on genetic engineering? Then? So why this question? Because in 2022, I'll come to your point. So in 2022, we got questions on, as you said, mRNA. mRNA is the types of RNA, messenger RNA, tRNA, etc. So why the question was in 2022? Because the COVID was happened in 2020. Because that is what I said. In 2021, we got 3 questions on genetic engineering, 65, 66, 67. So the 66 question, it talks about mitochondrial diseases. The mitochondrial diseases question was asked in, this is the same question. In the context of recent advances in the human reproductive technology, pro-nuclear transfer is used for. The answer for this question is prevention of mitochondrial diseases in offspring. It was asked in 2020 prelims. The same question was repeated in 2021 prelims. That was the first statement. If you know the answer for this question, you can easily answer this question. So the mitochondrial diseases, it is called as 3-parent baby. They will be inheriting the mitochondria from some person, because it is largely happens due to the faulty mitochondrial DNA in women. So they usually import it from the another women. So there are 3 parents involving in the birth of an offspring. That's why it's called as 3-parent baby. Usually we have 2 parents, right? It is called as 3-parent baby. Why it is 3-parent? Because the mitochondrial DNA was imported from someone else. So why the question was on, there were lot many questions in 2020, because these are all the evidences. In each and every year, you will be getting 1 question, 2 question or 3 question. You just imagine, in 2021, 3 questions on genetic engineering, 6 marks. So you have to catch these low-hanging fruits instead of running behind shitty current affairs which is available in the market, where you don't know what to study, what not to study, and how to study. You should understand, you should segregate the right knowledge in the ocean of unwanted knowledge. आपको क्या चाहिए वो लेना चाहिए. Nobody will teach what to pick it up. That has to be picked up from you, from analysis of the previous year papers. Nobody will try to come and help you. इस material से 100 marks आ रहा है, पढ़ लो. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So these are all the questions. So if you read properly all these questions, if you understand the concepts of all these questions, I guarantee you, you can easily answer genetic engineering questions of UPSC for the next 5 years. Because whatever the questions that we got in 21, 20, 22 or some more related to these topics itself. So in GEAC, Genetical Engineering Appraisal Committee, which was asked in 2014 and 16, the same, on the basis of the same question, the 2024 question was framed. So you have the links, you have the routes one or the other way with respect to the previous year papers. You got to know. Likewise, there are certain topics from where we will be getting questions again and again. So those topics are called as themes. Those themes will give you the edge over any other topic that you come across in current affairs or any other subject. You should master those themes without fail, where you will be getting at least 35 questions to 40 questions for sure. that will guarantee you 80 marks without any fail. So in the verge of answering very hard questions, we are losing the very, very easy questions which are largely predictable in nature. Got it? So we got to know there are certain themes from where UPSC has been asking questions again and again. Those themes are, it might be a parliament. This year also we got 2 questions on 2024 on parliament. Historical background to the constitution, you will be getting questions on 1935 Act, 1909 Act, 1919 Act or 1858 or 1893. One question is already fixed. And Buddhism, Jainism are the most important topics of UPSC, where you may not able to understand Buddhism and Jainism. If you start to understand, you will take Diksha. So it's very highly impractical to understand Buddhism and Jainism. So what are all the basics that you have, you try to go through it. They has largely as very factual questions in Buddhism, rather than what is the difference between Mahayana Buddhism or Hinayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism, Hinayana Buddhism, anybody can answer. That has to be prepared very well. Very factual questions on some Buddhist council or Buddhist monk, you may not able to recall at every point of time. That you have to intelligently neglect. Gandhi and freedom struggle, here the Gandhi and freedom struggle and tribal revolt has been largely, they are neglecting those topics. It was a theme in 2019, in 2020, but it is no more a theme in 2024. So there are certain themes which are largely evolving in the recent past, but there are certain themes that have been there from the long time. Likewise, you need to understand the pulse of the paper, how exactly they are asking the questions. If you don't understand the pulse of the paper, you will be reading without having the direction. Revenue and education policies of the British. In 2024, we got question on what? Which question we got? You got which question on revenue policies of British in 2024? On what topic? Raitwari settlement and Zamindari settlement. It's a 2-statement question, right? So that should be the knowledge that you must be having. I am not writing any prelims. So my attempt got over in 2022. I got All India rank 690 and I got IRMS. And after that, I'm continuing as a Tahsildar in state government of Karnataka itself. I didn't go there. But still, after the prelims, I was the first person to, I was eagerly waiting like how exactly they have asked the question. Because I want to understand whether my logic is still working or not. You name any question from the last 14 years, I'll let you know in which year the question was asked, what was the format, whether it is a ABCD format question, whether it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 format question, whether it is option only, option 2 statement. Raitwari statement, it's basically 2-statement statement. One statement talks about Raitwari settlement, second statement talks about Zamindari settlement, and there will be option 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So that should be the expertise you should be having with respect to the question. ನೀವು ಯಾರು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಭಾಳ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರು ಬರ್ತೆ ಮರಿತೀರಾ? You will not forget, right? You will prepare for gift and everything, blah blah kind of thing, right? You will not forget the direction to your house, right? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಚಂದ್ರಾಲಯ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಮರಿತೀರಾ? You won't forget. Likewise, the previous year question should be your Bible. In my initial years of preparation, and almost each and every day, half an hour to 1 hour, I used to dedicate to go through the previous year papers itself. Adane ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. That is the expertise that we will be getting. Once you understand the questions properly, you will get to know the pulse of the question paper. What exactly they are asking. Once you understand the pulse, you will start to change the way that you read. You will read what exactly required for the prelims. That is what important in the first component of prelims preparation, knowledge acquisition. If you don't acquire the right knowledge, you may not able to execute properly, you may not able to manage it properly. ಯಾಕೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ? Because they have been studying everything. They don't know what is important, what is not important. They don't know what to study, what not to study, and how to study. So they take 7 days to revise the polity again. That has to be revised in 2 days. So they are largely failing in the knowledge management because they have been studying everything. Seemingly, they think that everything is important. So they largely fail in knowledge management also. Since there is no good number of revision, they obviously fail in the knowledge execution part. It's a vicious cycle. You will never, you will not able to come out of it. So the first and foremost thing that you have to do is to analyze the previous year paper. So, one second. So education policies of the British, it might be on Charter Act, English education, Macaulay Minute, whatever it may be. So from there we will be getting good number of questions. So if you go through NDA CDS paper, you will get the clues in which part they are largely focusing, especially with respect to the British, especially with respect to the historical questions. In this, from 2023, the defense questions are largely appearing in civil service examination, which is largely the influence of NDA and CDS. In this year, we got 3 to 4 core defense questions. One is on missiles, one is on MiG fighter, 5th generation fighter, army, brigadier, such kind of questions that you are getting. So those questions are largely drawn from the NDA CDS paper. If you go through last 3 to 4 years of NDA CDS paper, you can easily answer 3 to 4 questions. Like 3 question, 4 question, 3 question, 4 question will make 50 to 60 questions right. You need only 50 to 60 questions right in the examination hall. You forget 20 hard questions where you don't have any clue. So we got to know a couple of static topics from where UPSC has been questions. Moving on to the dynamic themes, the coal. In each and every year there will be one question on coal or renewable energy. This year also we got question on fuel cell. The first question on fuel cell was appeared in 2014 prelims. And they have been asking on sustainable energy, biofuels, such kind of question from the last 15 years. So how many of you identified biofuel or sustainable energy as a theme? So what are all the components in it? Biofuels. Then see, sustainable energy itself is a very big topic. People do PhDs in it. You can't read everything under the sustainable energy, where you need to understand the core dimension from where they are asking the question. Ethanol, biofuel, feedstock to the biofuel, solar energy, fuel cell. They are not focusing on wind energy. In solar energy itself is a theme. In solar energy is broadly classified into, the first one is whether it is a panel based solar energy production or the drum based solar energy production. Solar energy production in India, biggest plant, floating point. The third pointer is SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India, International Solar Alliance. Likewise, if you understand the solar energy properly, there are 4 to 6 dimensions from where they are asking question. One is on the fundamental production of the solar energy. Second one is institution, organization associated with the solar energy. Third aspect is the factual point. For example, the largest solar plant, for example, Shakti Sthal of Pavgada or Madhya Pradesh or Gujarat, floating power, solar power plant in Kerala, something like that. So likewise, in solar energy itself, there are 3 to 4 dimensions from where they are asking questions. You need to highlight, you need to focus on that. How do you come to know that there are 4 dimensions from where solar energy questions have been come up? It's just analysis of previous year papers. So monetary policy and banking, this year we got 3 questions. National park and species, they are not largely focusing on the national park from the last 3 years. They are largely focusing on the species. On which species we got a question in 2024 prelims. Lion, cheetah, lion, do they breed? Do they have a particular breeding season? Which, and second one is that cheetahs doesn't roar because they don't have a larynx which is very big enough to roar like a tiger or leopard. So third pointer is the third pointer in the line question was the leopard, the female leopard as territorial extent. Does the male leopard also maintains the territorial integrity or not? That was the third pointer. So the option is only 1 option is correct, only 2 option is correct, only 3 option is correct, only 4 options are correct. So why that question was asked? It was something related to the behavioral of animal. Why? In 2021 we got question on elephant behavior, whether the female is the head of the herd. So whether it takes 21 or 24 months, the gestation period of the elephant. So why the cat? Because we have been getting questions on tigers. Got it? So the second question was on Flying fox. So it is something related to the animal behaving of the flying fox. The flying fox is largely identified as vermin species in various countries. There was a question on vermin species in 2022 or 2023 prelims. So the vermin species was declared as vermin species under which act? WPA 1972 Schedule 5. So there was a question on Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4 many times from the last 14 years. That is how you have to correlate the question paper. That is how you should have the hold on each and every questions. D-Boss ella film gotta? Katera ist collection aitu, Arya 2, Pushpa 2, ella collection gotta? Likewise, you need to understand which questions were asked in which year, in which format. Rashmika Madana, Vasa film, Karthik Aryan, Siddharth Malhotra, ella gotta? Likewise, you have to follow the previous year paper instead of following any celebrities. That is up to your personal reason. That is, I'm not denying that point. That is completely your personal choice. But at least for the next 2 to 3 years, you make UPSC as your personal choice. That is my humble request. Clear? So, National Park Budget and Fiscal Policy, we got a question on money bill in 2024 prelims. Article 110, Article 112. Got it? Pollution, we got one question on water pollution remedies in this year. What is that? Bioreactor. Important court judgments and fundamental rights we got to know. So we got question on judiciary. 2 questions on judiciary in 2024. Got it? So likewise, you need to understand the overall paper properly to gauge what kind of questions will be coming up, how exactly I have to prepare. That is the fundamental bedrock of any preparation. So what are all the sources for the preparation? The sources remains the same. NCERT, standard books, current affairs, and standard websites. For example, if you want any clarity, especially with respect to economy, refer Arthopedia or Investopedia. So likewise, there are certain standard websites. So Arthopedia is maintained by Indian Economic Service officers. Whatever the new things which is happening, especially with the government's perspective, that will be largely reflected in Arthopedia. Investopedia, they break down each and every concept in a layman term that can easily able to understand. For example, the presidential speech, Republic Day, Prime Minister's speech, which are very important. You try to go through it. And along with that, there are certain topics. Genetic engineering or species, no institution or no current affairs material will give the comprehensive picture. Because every classes has their own limitation. They can't cover you everything. Okay, there are certain topics where you have to take the interest and search and understand what are all the other questions they might ask. For example, for renewable energy, get me a material where they have covered all the components of solar energy, any institution material. It is not possible from the institution end also. There are limitations of the classrooms. That limitations of the classroom has to be addressed by you because you have to clear the examination. Solar energy, theme, you have to prepare your small notes. Species, prepare your small notes. Elephant, cheetah, or it might be leopard, or it may be snow leopard. There are various cats. For example, in eastern, in the northeastern part of India, there is a cat. So it is largely tries to hang to the mountain, to the tree or branches of tree. What is the cat? What is the name of the cat? Leopard cat. So likewise, there are various, and we got question on cat in 2018 prelims also, 20 prelims also. Fishing cat. It is largely located in the western Bengal, eastern part of India, something like that. Certain topics that you have to prepare on your own. Nobody will come to help. You make an alliance of 3 to 4 people and divide the topic and try to make short notes on it. So there are how many themes? There might be 40 to 50 themes that you have to identify on your own. So how to study the themes? So I got to know that they have been asking questions on word mapping. How exactly you will be studying the word mapping? Current affairs is the key indicator. Then, which are in news. Next.
So they're not just asking the boundaries of important cities. For example, Syria in the sense Aleppo and Italy was last week. So those kind of things you have to take a
Okay. So simple thing is, the first thing is you identify the themes, and after that you try to jot down all the important questions out of the themes and understand where they are asking the question. For example, international organization. You take any international organization question, the international organization question revolves around 3 to 4 important dimensions. First one is whether international organization is an intergovernmental organization or non-governmental organization. Okay? Intragovernmental or non-governmental. Overall, the members of it. The recent summit, the theme of it, where it exactly happened, whether India is a member of it or not. Next, what are all the important objectives? 1 or 2 important objectives would be more than enough, because there are 1,000 number of objectives of any organization. Objectives or goals, etc. And if there is recent happening, whether there is an initiative by that organization. If you are able to prepare any international organization, not all the international organization, the international organization which are largely in news, whether it may be APEC, or whether it may be a NATO, or whether it may be a UN, or it may be a WTO. WTO almost all are member. You need not to remember all 192 countries. For example, SAARC or BIMSTEC or whatever the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, BIMSTEC, Quad, BRICS, etc. This would be more than enough. In UN, they largely ask questions with respect to WB, IMF, to a certain extent other organization like WTO, etc. That would be more than enough. Especially with respect to culture, they asked UNESCO. There was a question on intangible heritage culture in 2024. Garba dance, Chow dance, Kumbh Mela, etc. Got it? So likewise, you should be having the clarity. So that's how you will come to understand what to study. You got to know how to study. You got to know the dimension. Okay, what to study, what not to study, and how to study. This is how the overall aspects of knowledge acquisition works. I'll give you another example also. For example, like sir, you have told that like these are all the dimensions from where UPSC has been questioned. Probably they will exhaust those dimensions. They might move towards other dimension. For example, see, with respect to the word mapping, these are all the types of questions they have been asking. They used to concentrate on Mediterranean Sea, Turkey, Southeast Asia, sea and bordering countries, especially Black Sea, Adriatic Sea, Caspian Sea. These are all the nature of questions the type of question they used to ask. This is my own analysis. So the word mapping, here we have different components that I have already specified. They ask the countries surrounding certain seas. Otherwise, they ask geographical region and certain area. For example, where do you find Alps? In Northern Europe, Southern Europe, etc. Andes Mountain, South America. Appalachians, Northern America. For example, Atlas Mountain, Africa. Okay, Northern Africa, something like that. And then region often in news. It was asked in 2015 itself. Famine and acute malnutrition in the recent past. It was asked in 2018. As you rightly pointed out, towns which are largely in news, which was asked in 2018. Aleppo, Kirkuk and Mosul. Based on this theme itself, we got this many questions. Expect the 92-1. Right? This question talks about what? Red Sea. Right? So from where we got this question? From this theme itself, right? Why they have asked a question on Red Sea? Because there was a evergreen, got to know that, right? Ever-given ship was stuck in the Suez of Canal. The Suez of Canal connects what? That's it. So you try to correlate the current affairs with the themes that you have. You will get a clarity. So what kind of questions could be asked in the future days? So this is something related to the same gas pipeline, Sahel region, military takeovers, instability, something related to this. What? Famine, some towns in news. Why Aleppo, Kirkuk, Mosul there was largely instability due to in Mosul belongs to Afghanistan because of Taliban, and Aleppo, Kirkuk, you know, ISIS. Got it? So, while you are studying, you got to know, Manlena, you got to know that we are getting a questions on Mediterranean Sea. The countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, we are getting questions you got to know from the previous year papers. Along with first and foremost thing is, you need to go through the countries which surrounds the Mediterranean Sea, whether it may be Spain or Monaco or Portugal, Italy, Greece, etc. And along with that, you try to go through two countries which are very close to Mediterranean Sea, but they don't share the border with the Mediterranean Sea. Obviously, the question paper will give the options which are very close to Mediterranean Sea, but they don't share the border. The example is what? Which country it is? Portugal. You need not to remember all the countries at all point of time. And some people will try to remember through some codes, matlab GTA, Vice City, cheat code, something like that. But you need not to remember something like Atareno. You need not to remember, but if it works for you, that is up to you. And along with that, it doesn't mean that you read only that part, because they have already exhausted a question on countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. They might move towards some extra level or higher level. At that point of time, try to understand which are all the the rivers which will drain into the Mediterranean Sea. Nile drains into the Mediterranean Sea. Which are all the straits which are present in the Mediterranean Sea. So the hill ranges along the Mediterranean Sea. Is there are any conflicts in the recent past in the Mediterranean Sea, etc. And along with that, you try to build the network. So they might move towards Black Sea and Caspian Sea. In 2014, they've asked question on Mediterranean Sea. In 17 and 18, they've asked question on Black Sea and Caspian Sea. The countries which surrounds the Black Sea and Caspian Sea. The rivers which drains into the Black Sea and Caspian Sea. The only country which shares border between Black Sea and Caspian Sea is Russia. Something like that. You have to brainstorm and read. Nobody will come and teach you to study this. You have to study on your own. And Armenia is a landlocked country which doesn't share any border with Black Sea and Caspian Sea, but Lake Sevan is present in Armenia, something like that. You need not to remember the capitals because they have never asked any questions on capitals. Okay, if there are any places in news, you try to remember. Now Russia is acquiring Ukraine. There are various regions, Donbass, etc. region. You try to remember the important cities over there. Crimea annexation, the same question was asked in 2014 because the Crimea was annexed by Russia in 2014, something like that. And slowly move towards the straits present in around the Mediterranean Sea. And the countries surrounding the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. And the African countries surrounding the Indian Ocean. Okay, the important islands which are largely in news in the Indian Ocean. North-South arrangement, South-North arrangement. Because we got a question on North and South arrangement in 2014 prelims, especially in the southeastern part. So the southern China, South China Sea, which was largely in news. So Spratly Islands, Corbo Shoal Islands, etc. So the question was asked in 2023 prelims on this. Kuril Islands. So if you try to build the network properly, it was the question asked in 2024 prelims. So they have exhausted Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, everything, and they slowly move towards the North Sea. Next year, they might move towards the Baltic countries, Finland, Norway, etc. That is how you have to analyze. Got it? So, from this session, you got to know what to study, what not to study, how to predict the topics, and how to set the dimensions for each and every topic. Clear? So, this is largely about, now you got to know how to analyze also, and you also got to know what is the difference between analyzing the previous year paper and solving the previous year papers. Anybody can solve previous year papers. If you give 300 rupees, they will give 22 years compilation book. So anybody can solve 100 questions at any point of time, but most of the people will largely fail to analyze the previous year papers. If you are able to solve the analyze the previous year paper, you will obviously 10 steps ahead of them, because you got to know what to study, what not to study, and how to study. So here, the knowledge part. So since you got to know what to study, you know how to acquire the knowledge. Since you know how to acquire the knowledge, the overall burden of acquisition of knowledge itself will be reduced by 50%. Since the acquisition part itself is easy, you are easily able to manage the knowledge. At least you have to revise. You have 75 days ahead, right? 100 days ahead, like 80 days ahead. You have to revise at least 3 times. Okay? And the same knowledge that you have revised has to be implemented in the test series. That is knowledge execution. So in the knowledge execution part, your skill matters a lot. Here you need to understand the skill to how to acquire the knowledge. Here you need to understand the skill to execute the knowledge. So how exactly the skill is? Like, what do you mean by the skill? Like, what are all the important skills that you really require? We got to know about this. So we really required in the execution of knowledge. That means in test series, or any test, or in the examination hall. Let's consider examination hall.
Analysis.
How we have to analyze. So how exactly we will solve the test series? Please let me know. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ತೊಗೊತೀರಲ್ವಾ, ಒಂದು 2 hours ಕೂತ್ಕೊತೀರಾ, ಅದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು 70 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 20 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ತಪ್ಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 50 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಂಗೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಒಂದು 100 ಮತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್? ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್? ಹೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್? Very good, very good. So how many of you are analyzing your test paper? Okay. So how many of you are not analyzing? Okay, like at least how many of you are not writing the test series? First of all, see, whatever the test paper that you have, see, what I used to do is, the test, there are certain things that you have to keep in mind. Test series marks are indicative. Test series marks are indicative. They have nothing to do with your final marks. And see, one of the major limitations of the test series, you have to write the test series. See, in my life, I have framed more than 7,000 questions, MCQs. In the last 6 years, I have framed more than 7,000 questions. So one of the major, like I used to set it for the Insights IAS. So the first and foremost limitation of the test series is, UPSC has 7 subjects to set 100 questions. The test series people like me has the same 7 subjects to set question for 25 tests, which consists of 2,500 questions. So, ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? Obviously 100 questions. Because the polity test series, the polity subject itself is divided into 2 to 3 tests. Like first part, second part, third part, and comprehensive. So obviously whatever the questions that you will be getting in the test series are not, or all are not relevant to the actual UPSC exam. Got it? All, you may get less marks, you may get out of out, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether you are committing mistakes in fundamental rights, whether you are committing mistakes in genetic engineering, whether you are committing mistakes in banking, RBI. That matters a lot. Once you take the test series, you should take test series offline only. And you should not take online with the OMR sheet only. And the test series paper, the second problem is the test series people like me will pick up the statements from Lakshmikant or DD Basu or Shankar Ganesh or NCRT. UPSC doesn't use such kind of language. Have you seen any Lakshmikant language in UPSC papers? The language differs a lot. So whatever the test series that you will be writing, you have to write it in 1 hour 45 minutes. Because compared to the normal test series, the UPSC paper is very lengthy. And it has good number of statements in each question. You have to take a lot of time to understand the question also. Here the language is pretty similar. There the language is relatively different. The third pointer is, see, I used to score very good marks in prelims like 120 plus. In 2016, I got 161.34 out of 200. At that point of time, it was one of the highest score. I don't know, still the people may not able to get 161.34 out of 200 marks. At that point of time, paper was relatively easy. I'm not denying that point. Here now the paper has become more complex and lengthy statements are there. So I never used to get 80 marks in Vision IAS test series in 2016. And leaving the multinational company job, not getting more than 70 in Old Rajendra Nagar with small room, with lot of pressure, I would have felt. But I had a vision that UPSC will not ask such kind of questions. I used to strike off the question in the examination hall itself. Itara question kedala guru, they are just asking anta. And I used to eliminate the question out of 93 questions, and the 7 questions cut madidre. Out of 93 questions, how many marks that I got, adana I used to calculate. I had such clarity. Something like that. I used to use my own word. I used to write some question, tirke question, something like that on that. So that I should not bend towards such kind of content while I am going through the current affairs. One of the major mistakes people commit, because 1-to-1, I have seen more than 500 copies of test, like actual examination attend ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪೇಪರ್ ನಾನು ಒಂದು 500 ಪೇಪರ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ದು. What they have actually attended in the examination hall. So why actual exam alane? On that analysis I am saying, most of the people what they do is, they read for the test series, not for the exam. Test series alli eno ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ question ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರು, knowingly unknowingly will start reading that content. Fundamental rights ಮೇಲೆ ಏನೋ advanced question ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರು, you will start following that advanced knowledge, forgetting the basic knowledge. Don't read for test series, read for UPSC. And that's why, and many people, like I have seen many people, she got a rank, she is an IAS officer also. Her first attempt, she has taken the instructions very, very seriously. Don't write anything on the paper. She has not written single thing. Or chukki agar ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ, ಬಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಚುಕ್ಕಿ ಹಾಕಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಟಾಗಿ ಚುಕ್ಕಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. One attempt gone. So these are all the very small mistakes that you commit. So in test series, whatever the mistakes that you commit in the test series itself. There are certain rules. You have to use the question paper like anything. Circle ಮಾಡಿ, caught ಮಾಡಿ, second round ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ encircle ಮಾಡಿ. You have to do the rounds also. First round, second round, third round. First round you have to attend the most easiest question. I have seen a lot of people, when I go through their papers, actual paper, examinational paper, 70th question ಗೆನೆ end ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Because they don't do the rounds. Now most of the people do know the rounds concept. 70 questions they stuck up. Unfortunately, she got some C series or D series where the ancient India, medieval India questions are at the first. Ideally, she or he has to leave that question and he has to hunt for the polity, NV, science and tech question which are at the last. But she got stuck up at the 70th question itself. 2 hours agoytu. So that those 30 questions were waiting for her, but she lost it. That's mistake you should not commit. And second, if the few people will sit on that question, ನೀವು ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಇಷ್ಟತಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನನಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಈಗೋಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫೈಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಈಗೋ ಆಫ್ ದ UPSC. If they have something which is very extraordinary, that is extraordinary for everyone, not you, not for you only. So you leave the question and you give the salute to the UPSC, aap to baap hai, main chhod deta hu question. You try to strike it off. In 100 questions, you have to identify the easy questions, doable questions of the first round, and then you have to aim for the more doable questions in the second round. Third round, there will be a couple of questions where you have to take the risk. You are at 50-50. You have to take the risk. There are 20-50 questions that you have to, 15 to 20 questions that you have to leave. In test series, you try to identify which are the questions that you are going to leave. That is very important in the examination hall. And fourth important thing is, usually people don't do the bubbling thing. You have to do it with the OMR sheet only, because bubbling error ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 2-3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಎ ಗೆ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಗೆ ಡಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. 3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? 6 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. 3 ಇದು ಮಾಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ರಾಂಗ್, ಸೊ 8 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. 8 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ. And second most important point is how many questions to attend. How many questions to attend? Next. See, there is no fixed number of questions. I have seen students who go with the mindset that I have to attend 85 questions. But the question paper itself is like 2023. Have you seen 2023 paper? 2023 paper is one of the most difficult paper from the last 15 years. If you go with the logic that I have to attend 85 questions, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲೇ fail ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. See, is it possible to hit 6 in Melbourne ground? You watch cricket, right? You don't watch cricket. Melbourne ground cricket stadium is very big. If somebody aims to hit the 6 in the Melbourne cricket stadium, probably he will be caught at the boundary line. But if the same player is put in Chinnaswamy Stadium, he got a 6. So what I'm trying to tell is, you need to understand the pitch properly. The question paper is very difficult, minimize your attempts. The question paper is relatively easy, then maximize your attempts. Without understanding the difficulty of the paper, just dodging 80-85 questions doesn't serve the purpose. Okay, so how do you come to know the difficulty level of the paper? That is the first question. How do you come to know? For that, you have to analyze the previous year paper. After 50 minutes of the examination hall, where you will be going through 100 questions, you will come to know the difficulty level of the paper. At least you should know how to assess the difficulty level of the paper. That is largely possible through the PYQs. ನೀವೇನೇ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷ್ಯಾಲಯ ಅಂದರೆ PYQs. ಕಾಳಿಕಾಂಬ, ಮಾರಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷ್ಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, nobody will stop you from clearing the prelims. See, I have seen many candidates in my life, they have failed 6 prelims attempt. In the 7th prelims attempt, she got interview call. She was not able to make it up. 8th prelims, due to some personal reason, she was not able to give it properly. In the 9th attempt, it was her last attempt. It was her second mains. In 9 years, she got through the prelims. She got through the mains. In my batch, I cleared in 2022. I got 690 rank. She got some 200 rank. She got IAS. She got insider cadre. She got her home cadre also. 9 years, only 2 mains, IAS, home cadre. Okay, so I have seen such kind of examples in my life, varied examples. So why, if she unfortunately she got to know the analysis of the previous year paper in her 7th attempt, when she came up with a question paper to me. So you are very fortunate to understand the rules of the game at the early stage of your preparation. So make sure that you don't cut it loose. Make sure that you inculcate the teachings of the session so that your preparation will be fine-tuned to a larger extent. And after that, nobody should stop you from clearing the prelims. If the prelims becomes hurdle, what happens, 1 year you will clear prelims. Next, you will be writing mains. Then you may not able to clear the mains. Then you will not able to clear the prelims. Next, second year, you may not able to clear the prelims. At that point of time, your confidence level will go very low. If you consecutively clearing the prelims, your confidence will be high. And you have a time to correct for the mains. Otherwise, ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವರ್ಷಗಳು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. That should not happen. And after getting into the service, I am getting to know each and every year in the service matters because the promotion depends on your service only. So when you make prelims as a cakewalk, you will be having a greater confidence in your life, in preparation, whatever it may. And once you master the prelim skills, it applies for the every examination also. CTI Berkeley, CTO Berkeley, FDA Berkeley, other Group C, whatever it may be the exam. Most of the exams are MCQs itself. You'll get to know the heart of cracking the MCQs. So moving on to the test series, and few people, the next thing is few people will start to, they will start to think that in the examination that all that I will not clear this prelims. After 1 hour, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್. Until and unless you come and check the key answers, and after 18 days UPSC releases the key result, don't judge your performance. Okay, don't predict the cutoff in the examination all. You will start to think that ಈ ಸರಿ ಅಂತೂ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ cutoff ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟಿಕ್ ಹೊಡೆದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡೋದು. Otherwise, you will start to think that I will be failing in this prelims in the examination hall itself. Adadmele, CSAT is the most important thing. I was duped in CSAT 2, not in GS1. CSAT time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ GS1 ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆಯಾ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದು. Don't commit those blunders because if you already committed the mistakes, nobody can change it. Okay, and the second part of the story is test series marks are very indicative. You evaluate the test series based on 3 to 4 parameters. Basics al tap martidina ilva, whether I am committing mistakes in basics or not, whether I am able to do the round system, first round, second round, whether I am bubbling the OMR sheet properly or not, whether am I able to comprehend the sentences properly or not, am I able to focus myself in 2 hours. In test series, you have to write in 1 hour 45 minutes only. And whether you are able to revise it properly or not between the test schedules. That is the first point. The second point is after the test series, try to evaluate where exactly you have committed the mistakes. It doesn't mean that first error might be a conceptual clarity. Nimge conceptual clarity ne iralla. Adu gottagutte. Second enantandre you have misread the question. Andre you have not read the question properly. At least in any test series, 2 to 3 questions you will commit mistakes because of you have not read the question properly. Third pointer, you might overanalyze. What is the difference between analysis and overanalysis? ಭಾಳ ಓವರ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಈಸಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿ ಆಗಿರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಓವರ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ಪುನಃ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರೆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ 1 and second statement. You have not interpreted the statement with respect to the contest. You have read the 2 statements very independently. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಓವರ್ಲುಕಿಂಗ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಫ್ಲಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪೇಜೇ ಎಗ್ರೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. These are all the very, very minor errors. 1 question, 2 question. These errors are runtime errors. You people are from computer science background, right? Code correct agide, execute ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, exception ನಡೀತಿದೆ. That is nothing but runtime error. Okay, so over analysis, overlooking, misread the question, bubbling errors, you are not traversed to the whole paper in the first 1 hour. These are all the runtime errors that you commit. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಓವರ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ, ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ 6 reasons ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 6 questions. 6 questions into 2 marks, 12 marks. 6 questions ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ 4 marks, ಒಟ್ಟು 16 marks. Most of the serious candidates are at the borders. ಅಲ್ವಾ? If the cutoff is 85 or 90, serious candidates ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 80-75 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. They need extra 10 marks or 12 marks at the maximum. So at the end of the day, they will search for the content itself rather than the runtime errors. So ideally, you should not commit any runtime errors in the examination hall. If you commit runtime errors, you will be losing 12 marks straight away. ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸತಿ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಬೇಕಂದರೆ ಆ ಪ್ರೆಷರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಆ ಪ್ರೆಷರಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ನ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಒಂದು 40 ನಿಮಿಷ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಪಾಕಶಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಫಿ ಕುಡ್ಕೊಂಬರೋದು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಬಂದು ಬರೆಯೋದು, ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫೋನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ 1 hour 40 minutes ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಿಟ್ ಅಲೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿದೆ, ಓವರ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್, ಓವರ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ I may get 20 marks or 30 marks, I don't care, but I will not misinterpret any questions. ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಎರರ್ನ ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಎರರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಆದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎರರು. ಲೈಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇನ್ 8 to 10 tests, you have to scale down all the runtime errors to the 0. That is what the skill is. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತೀರ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸತಿ, ಯು ರೀಡ್ 1 question for 3 times, ರೈಟ್? ಅದಕ್ಕೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ವೈ ಯು ಫೇಸ್ ದ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್? ಟೈಮ್ ಸಾಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಂತ. ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಹೆಂಡ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೋ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಎನಿವನ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ವೈ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು 100 ಕ್ವಶನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 20-30 ಕ್ವಶನ್ 2-3 ಸತಿ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ನು 3 ಸತಿ ಓದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಾಲುತ್ತೆ? ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಹೆಂಡ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೋ. ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ 2 ಸತಿ ಓದಬೇಕಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ನು? Not, because those are the themes you have read 3 to 4 times. You can understand the question at the first go itself. So comprehend alli nimge time agbardu, because that's why you are not able to CSAT al 26 questions iruttalla, 3-4 sati 5 sati paragraph ಓದ್ತೀರಾ. That should not be the case. You have to comprehend as quick as possible. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದಷ್ಟು ಕಾಂಪ್ರಹೆನ್ಷನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನು? That has to come in test series. ಓಕೆನಾ? The third pointer would be, with respect to the overall solving of the test series, don't solve too much of test series. One test series would be more than enough. Don't over rely on too much of content. One source will be the standard source for anything. But the selected topics, you have to do your search and make sure that you prepare small notes. And make sure that you revise 2 to 3 times. The next 75 days, there should be no new source. And the first and the most important point is, CSAT everybody is neglecting. Iga, for example, GS 1 alli, you need how many marks to clear the process? 90 marks. Okay. So, in order to get the 90 marks, you are investing 80% of your time. What about 66 marks in paper 2? So, ideally, you have to reserve 3 hours for CSAT every day, no matter how good you are or how bad you are at CSAT. CSAT you should not neglect. ಲಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, CSAT ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ವೈಸ್ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ನೋ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಹರಿಕತೆ ಓದೆ ಅನ್ನಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವ್ ಎನಿ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್, that will be more fruitful when you start to implement it, at least 10% of the class or 20% of class. I'm very happy if 50% of the class implements whatever the things that we have discussed. And it doesn't mean that these pointers are supreme. There are certain points that is very new to you, that is working for you. Go for it. Put it for the dustbin. These pointers in the dustbin gaki, not a problem. The only agenda here is you have to clear the prelims at set. But the way that you are traversing should be more logical and more direction, it's more directionable. So without any direction, if you are hitting on anything, it doesn't serve the purpose. Make it more logical, precise and simple and hassle-free. That is the only way to clear the prelims. You start to clear the prelims, one attempt, second attempt, ನಿಮ್ಮ 3-4 attempt ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ nobody knows. Got it? So there are certain thumb rules that has to be followed. There are certain do's that has to be followed at any point of time. There are certain don'ts that you should be aware of and you should be cautious about it. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಹೌ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 hours. ಆ ಕಂಡೀಷನಿಂಗು 2 ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಬಂದೆ ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗ್ತೆ ಹೋಗದೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಡ್ಸ್. ಭಾಳ ಲೋ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರ, ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಬರೀರಿ. ಫುಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜೆಟಿಕ್ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಬರೀರಿ. ಆವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಹೌ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ರಾತ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಕಡೆ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್, ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್? ಅಟ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ ದಿಸ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಬ್ಬಾಕ್ತೆ ನೋಬಡಿ ಕೇರ್ಸ್. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಗೆಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬಂತ ಫುಲ್ಲು ನಾನೇನು ಓದಿದ್ದು ನಾನೇ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ದು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬರಲಿಲ್ವಾ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ತಿರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಎನಿ ಒನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಈಸ್. So you should be aware of your own strength and weakness and you should work on it. Nobody will help you. Okay? And it's very fortunate that you got good people here. Prashant Anagirbodu, everybody. They are there to help you at any point of time. Namgella idara guidance first sigle illa. It was ಲೈಕ್ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾರೋ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೇ ಒಂಥರ ಡಾನ್ ಥರ ನೋಡೋರು, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಬರೀತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಸೂಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಜನ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋರು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಕ್ರಂಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟರ್. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ 21st century. ಯಾವಾಗ ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಆವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೇನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಜಾ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಏರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫುಡ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಿಡು ಸಿಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. But when somebody charges for the clean atmosphere, clean water, then only you will come to know the value of it. So you have all the things at your best. Make sure that you use it properly. Okay. And after that, moving on to the last slide, thumb rules I have explained. I talked about the knowledge execution part also, knowledge acquisition and management. Now the questions part. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay. You can ask any trivial doubts that you have. One by one, I will take it up. Okay.
ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಷ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದ PYQಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಡಾಗಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸರ್.
ಸಿ ಯು ರೈಟ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟರ್ನ್ ಔಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್, ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರು 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 3 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈಗ 1 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಲೇ 2 to 3 ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಟಿಪಿಕಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ 400 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ 1 ಪೇಪರ್. 400 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಂಟು 15 years ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? 6,000 ಅಂದರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ 6,000 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಯು ಫಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ strategy. You work on the theme strategy. For example, leopard. It's basically a question related to a cat family. You work on the broader theme rather than single option. You start to work on the single option, you don't know how to draw the line. One of the most important aspect in knowledge acquisition part is you should know where to draw the line. For example, BRICS mail question barutte, SARC mail question barutte, BIMSTEC mail question barutte. If you open the Wikipedia page, ಬ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಆ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಪೇಜ್, ವಿಕಿಪೀಡಿಯಾ ಪೇಜ್. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವೈಲ್ ಚೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಟು ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಲೈನ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟು ಡ್ರಾ ದ ಲೈನ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಥೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಓಪನ್ ವಿಕಿಪೀಡಿಯಾ, ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಕೊಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೈಪರ್ ಲಿಂಕು, ಆ ಲಿಂಕು, ಮೆಟಾ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೈಬೀರಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರ. ಆಗಾಗ 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಗರ್ದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಗರ್, ಲೆಪೋರ್ಡ್, ಮೇಲ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲಯನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗುಂಪಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಟೈಗರ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಭಾಳ ಸಾಲಿಟರಿ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸು. ಈಗ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಟೈಗರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಕ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೈಟ್ ಟೈಮು. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಪುನಃ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ದೇ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಗಿವ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಟು 2 to 3 cubs ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ, ಆ ಥರ ಅದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ದ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಅರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ತಾಯಿನೇ, ದ ಮೇಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರಲ್ ಡೈನಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಟೈಗರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟೈಗರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. 18 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ. ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ಯಾವುದಿದೆ, ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರದೇಶ ಇದೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಯಾವುದಿದೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಇದೆ. ಅದಾಯಿತು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸುಂದರ್ಬನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಸಿಡಿಯಸ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಎವರ್ಗ್ರೀನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಿದೆ, ಆ ಥರ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಗರ್ದು ಈ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. TX2 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಟೈಗರ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟು ದ ಟೈಗರ್, ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ 1 WPA 1972. ಇಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಾದರೆ ನೀವು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ 4 ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓನ್ಲಿ 1 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ 2 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು UPSCಗೆ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹರಾಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಒನ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು 4 ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಲಿ ನಾಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 24ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್. 1 to 3 ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಪುನಃ ತಗೊಂಬಂದರು. 1 ಓನ್ಲಿ 2 ಓನ್ಲಿ, ಭಾಳ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್. ಯಾವುದೋ 1, 2, 3 3 ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ವೀಕರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಭಾಳ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ 10 to 12 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಎನಿವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಲ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದೇ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಂಬರ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಶೆಲ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟು ಶುಡ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸು. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೈಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೇ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರ್ಯಾಡಾರ್ 2024 ಕ್ವಶನ್. ರ್ಯಾಡಾರ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಥರ ನೀವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಗೆಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡೆಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನ ನಾನು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗದು ಭಾಳ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ, ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಭಾಳ ಆಟ ಹಾಕಿ, ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದನ್ನು ಓದೋವರೆಗೂ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನರ್. ಡಿಡ್ ಐ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇರೆದೇನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್. ಅದು 1 year ಬರುತ್ತಷ್ಟೇ, ಇನ್ನು ನಾಳೆಯಿಂದ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇನ್ 2016 ವಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಎ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ ಯಾವುದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ ಆಫ್ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂತು. ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ 17ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಟರ್ಫ್ಲೈ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡೋದು, ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅದು 1 ವರ್ಷ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 2ನೇ ವರ್ಷ ಅದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಹಂಗಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಾನು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಗಾಂಧಿ ಎರ ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟು ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಲೈಕ್ 2014ಇಂದ 17ವರೆಗೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಂತು. 17 ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಎರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಂಗಂತ ನೀವು ಓದಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೋ ವೇಟೇಜ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಗಾಟ್ ಇಟ್?
ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದು, ಎಲ್ರದ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೊಕಾಸ್ಟಿನೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್ ನಾನು.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ಹೊಸ್ದಾಗಿ ಓದೋಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾಳ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಗೊತ್ತು ಮನುಷ್ಯ.
ಒಂದು ಸತಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರೊಕಾಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ, ಹೊಸ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಲು, ಹೊಸ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಕು, ಹೊಸ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಹೊಸ ರೂಮರು, ಹೊಸ ರೀಲ್ಸು ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕನ್ಸಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡೋ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ವೇ ಅಲ್ಲ ರಿವಿಷನ್ನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಈಗೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಭಾಳ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ, ಆ ಥರ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಶ್ ದಟ್ ಈಗೋ. ಸೊ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಸೈಸ್. ನೀವು ಹೊಸ ಬುಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ, ಭಾಳ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಭಾಳ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಅವಾಗ ನೀವೇನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾನು ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕರ್ಮ. ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್? ಪೂರ್ವ ಜನ್ಮದ ಕರ್ಮ ಬೆನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಕನಕದಾಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪುರಂದರದಾಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ 24ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, 25ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ.
ರೋರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಈ ಥರ ತುಂಬ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನಿಂದ ಕ್ವಶನ್,
ಒಂದೊಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನಿಂದ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗೋದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 2 ರೀಸನಿಂದ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್.
ಅದು ಮನಿ ಬಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೂ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್. 110 ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು, 109 ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. 109 ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಈ ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಥರ
ಅದೇ ರಾತ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಡಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅದು.
ನಿಜ ಸರ್.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ, ಅದು ಪುರಂದರದಾಸರು ಪೂರ್ವ ಜನ್ಮದ ಕರ್ಮ ಬೆನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ನೀವು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ವಾ, 27ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. 27ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ವಾ, 28ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿಸ್ ಫೇಸ್, ವೆದರ್ ಯು ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗೇಮ್. Until and unless you don't understand the rules of the game, you can't play the game. ಇದು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗೇಮ್. ನೀವು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಓದೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ, ಅಟ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಐ ಟಿಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಜಾಬ್ ಹುಡುಕ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸಿ, ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಂಟ್ರೋಪಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ನೋ ದ ಎಂಟ್ರೋಪಿ? Entropy means what? What is the definition of entropy? The energy within the system is called as entropy, right? So the entropy levels ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ನಂದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾ ಐ ಟಿಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ವಿತಿನ್ 25th ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬಂದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಕಡೆ ಹೊಡಿಬೇಕಂತ, IAS ಹೊಡಿಬೇಕಂತ. ಪುನಃ 3ನೇ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಯ್ಯೋ AS ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಸಾರಿ ಆದರೆ ಸಾಕಂತ. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಹೆಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಲಿಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಸರು ಬಂದರೆ ಸಾಕಂತ. So the things are becomes very tricky when you get old again and again. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ the process itself is very tedious. Prelims ಆಯಿತು, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ ದಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನೀವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಎಗೈನ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಮೇನ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ, ಪುನಃ ಎಗೈನ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ. ವರ್ಷಗಳು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾವು 30 ದಾಟಿ 40 ಹತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. 20 ದಾಟಿ 30ವರೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದೂ ಈಗ 1 ವರ್ಷ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಓಕೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಟು ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಈಗಂತ ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಟೂ ಮೆನಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೂ ಭಾಳ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು, 2 years ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಫರ್ಗಿವಬಲ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಸೆಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೆನ್ ಟು ಕಮಿಟ್ ದ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಕಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸಿನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೋ ಬಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಬೋರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಈ ದಿನ ಇದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ 2 to 3 ಲೈಕ್ ಮೈಂಡೆಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ, ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಬರಿಬೇಕಂತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೀತೀರಾ. ಯು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ವೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರೋ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಈಗ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಟು ದ ಮೆಂಟರ್. ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಕಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ವೆನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್. IPS, IAS, IRS, ವೆದರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಟು ದೇರ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ 10th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಯ ಇರೋದಲ್ವಾ? ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಇರೋದು? ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಟ್ 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ವೇರ್ ದ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್, ನೈಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, ಶೂಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಭಯ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಭಯ ಏನಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಹೇಳಿ? ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಟೆಡ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಬಂದು ತಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಓದೇಬೇಕು, ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು, ನೀನು ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೋಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೇ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಎ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನೆಗೆಟಿವೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೀ, ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಬಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಟು ದ ಮೆಂಟರ್. ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೊಂದು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಸರ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಯಿತಾ ಅಂತ. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್, ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಎ ಮೆಂಟರ್, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ, ವೆಲ್ ವಿಶರ್, ಆಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಅಕೌಂಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಯು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ವೇಸ್. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಫೇಲ್, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 3 ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಈಗ 80 days ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 75 days ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಅದೇ 40 days, 30 days, 20 days ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಅದು ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಯು. ಈಗ ಭಾಳ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ನ ಆ್ಯಂಪರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಪೇಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 3 times with at least 20 tests. With only 1 test series would be more than enough. Don't give too many test series also. 1 week before the test, actual exam, May 25th, don't give any test. Don't give any test well before the 25th. ಏನೋ ಮಾರ್ಕು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ 2 ದಿನದ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ UPSC ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್. ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಎವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅದೇನೇನಿದೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. You prepare, don't get carried away by the number of questions or type of questions which will be asked by the test series. I have seen the people who score 160, they are not able to clear the prelims also. Who are scoring 70, they were able to clear the prelims also. Who are getting 100 in test series, they are getting 100 in actual exam also. There are various patterns. Different people have their different path and different success stories. Okay, next question. Any other questions?
Sir, current affairs, it will be too bulky, means we'll be consolidating it. How to means, is it very much necessary to revise each and everything? In terms of environment, they will be having multiple species which have been identified. So even in the classes also we'll be taking all those things. So whether we have to stress more on basics or the current affairs we have to stress more, like?
See, it depends from subject to subject. For example, in environment, they are not asking good number of questions on basics. You got to know that, right? Nobody is asking question on food chain and food web. It was exhausted in way back in 2011 and 13. And in environment, they are not asking questions on organization also. For example, earlier we used to mug up all the organization, Earth Summit enandrenu, for example, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಕ್ಯೋಟೋ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಕಾಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, UNEPPP ಅಂದ್ರೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್, ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್. ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಥೀಮ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ವೈಲ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಸಮ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಿಸಮಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್. ದ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿರೋದೇ ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 2 types ಇನ್ ಇಟ್: ಲೆಪೋರ್ಡ್, ಟೈಗರ್, ಎಲಿಫೆಂಟ್, ವರ್ಮಿನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್. ದೇ ಗೋ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್. ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ವಲ್ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಯಾ ಬ್ಲಾ 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 ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಸ್ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸೋ ಈಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸೋ ಆ ಥರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಸಾಕು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆಯಿತು, ರೆಪ್ಟೈಲಾ, ಫಿಶ್ಶಾ, ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರೆಪ್ಟೈಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸೋ, ಫಿಶಸ್ಸೋ, ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಶ್, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಕು, ಟೈಗರ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೀಟೇಲು. ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಆದರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಕೆಲವು ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಕಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ನ್ಯೂಜಿಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಕಾಂಗ್ರೋ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಪ್ರಿಡೇಟರ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಇದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೌನ್ಸರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಐಡಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಎಗ್ ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು 9th 10th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಟಿಪಸ್ ಅದು ಇದು ಅಂತ. ಪುನಃ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಈ ವೇಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್, ಸಚ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೀ ಫಿಶ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೀ ಆರ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಫಿಶ್, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಆರ್ಥೋಪೋಡ್, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಥರ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಓದ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಆನ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ದಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕಂತಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಓದೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್. ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಈ ಥರ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಫುಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗಳನ್ನೇ. ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಮೊಘಲ್ಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹಾಕೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪೇಜ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಓದಿರ್ತೀರ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಏನೋ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲೀವ್. ನೀವು ಬೇಗ ಬಿಟ್ಟಷ್ಟು ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ 10 seconds ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ಕಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ 30 more seconds into that question where you will be leaving at the end of the day. That 30 seconds or 40 seconds can be invested in 50-50 questions where you are stuck between two options. You got it? ನಾನು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ.
Any other questions, please, before we close?
ಸರ್, ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಸರ್.
ಯಾವಾಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಸರ್ ಜಾನ್ವರಿ. ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಓದಿ, ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹೇಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್?
ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡೇ ಓದಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಪೊಲಿಟಿ, ಹಿಸ್ಟಾರಿಕಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಟು ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿ, ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ?
ಪಾಲಿಟಿ.
ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿ, GDP ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, GNP ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, GDP ಡಿಫ್ಲೇಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ರಿಯಲ್ GDPಗೂ ನಾಮಿನಲ್ GDPಗೂ ಏನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸು, ಆ ಥರ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಷಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂದರೆ 50% ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆ 50% ಆಫ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸತಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಆಗ ನೀವು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟು, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೋದರೆ ಯು ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ. ಹಂಗೀಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿರಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಷಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ, ದೆನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 50% ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಮುಗೀತು, ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಮೇಜರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗೋದು ಅದೇ, ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಡೆದು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೆಲವರೆಲ್ಲ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ನನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಐ ಟುಕ್ 2 hours. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಆಗೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೋಗ್ತಾ 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 ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗು, ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, ಹೆಂಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮೇನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೇನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಬರೀತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೀವು ಬರಿತಿರೋ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರೋ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ. ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಿತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ನೋ.
ಸರ್, ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಸರ್?
ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಈಗ ಓದೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಒಂದು ಓದಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಏನೂ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. 6 months ಬಿಡ್ದಂಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದಿ. ಏನಾದರೂ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಯಾವ ಬೈಜು ಇವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ರಾವ್ಗಿ ಇವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು 40 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೇನೋ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಕ್ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಷಿಯೇಟ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ ಥರ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ತೊಗೊಂಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗೆ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗೆ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು, ಆ ಇಂಟ್ರಡಕ್ಷನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೋದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲವ್ರಿಗೆ 2 ಅವರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, 3 ಅವರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಕೆಲವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ದಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್. 3 ಅವರ್ ಆಗೋರಿಗೆ 3 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ 2 ಅವರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಡೀಲ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ 6 ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಓದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಕೇನೆ. ಈಗ ಪುಟಿನ್ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ಸಾಯೋವರೆಗೂ ಪುಟಿನೇ. ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಏನು 4 ವರ್ಷ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಜೆಲೆನ್ಸ್ಕಿ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಉಕ್ರೇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿನ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಅವರೇನು ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋರೇನು ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 6 ಮಂತ್ಸ್. ಅದೇ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಅದೇ. ಬಜೆಟ್ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅದೇನು 191 ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಅದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 110 ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 6 ಮಂತ್ಸ್.
Any last question?
CSAT, I'll take it up very next because CSAT itself is a very big topic. So let me restrict to GS1. CSAT ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, 3 hours ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಹೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಭಾಳ ಈಸಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾನು ಆ್ಯಪ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ RC ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಕಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ RC ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ. ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಮಚ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಐ ಲೆಟ್ ಯು ನೋ ವಿತ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಇವಾಗ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದು 26 RC ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 80ರಲ್ಲಿ 26 ತೆಗೆದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? RC ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
RCನೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ ಸರ್? ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೀಸ್ನಿಂಗು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಫಸ್ಟು RC.
ಬ್ರೀಫಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಹೇಳಿ.
ಫಸ್ಟು RC, ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೀಸ್ನಿಂಗು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್.
ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಸಿ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್, CSAT 80 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ 40 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ RC ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 40 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 4ರಿಂದ 5 ತಪ್ಪಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಒಂದು 30ರಿಂದ 32ಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ರೈಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು 27 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟು RC ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ RC ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟಬಲ್. ಕರೋಲರಿ, ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್, ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ. ಅದೇ ನೀವು ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, RCಲಿ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ RC ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ನಾಟ್ ಎನಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ತಪ್ಪಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ RC ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀವು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ದೇ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅವರು ಇನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ RCನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬೈ 50 minutes ಇನ್ ದ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಹಾಲ್. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ 80ರಲ್ಲಿ 26 ಕಳೆದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? 54 ಆಯಿತು. 54 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. 54 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇವಾಗ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು 17, 18, 19, 20ವರೆಗೂ ಹೆವಿ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್. ನಾರ್ತ್ಗೆ ಹೋದೆ, ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಬೆಂಚಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಜನ ಕೂತಿದ್ರು, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ 4 ಕ್ವಶನ್ನು, ಕಲರ್ ಟೈ, ವೈಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟು, ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಶರ್ಟು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ 4 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಡೋರು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿ 1 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಪ್ಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಳಿದಿರುತ್ತೆ? 54ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ್ಯಪ್ಟಿ ಒಂದು 40 ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು ನಂಬರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆವಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಿರೋ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರೋ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸಖತ್ತಾಗಿ ಓದಿರಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಈಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವರ್ಕು, ಪೈಪು, ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇದು NPR, NCR, ಪರ್ಮಿಟೇಷನ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್, ಕ್ಲಾಕು, ಆ ಥರದ್ರೆಲ್ಲ 2-3. ಈಗ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವರ್ಕಲ್ಲೇ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 3 to 4 ಮಾಡಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. 2 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, 1 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 1 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, 2 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ಥರದ್ದು ನೀವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ 18 ಥೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ CSAT ಆ್ಯಪ್ಟಿಲಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ 10ರಿಂದ 12 ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನು 8 ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ NPR, NCR ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಬಿಡುತ್ತೋ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದರಿಂದನೇ 8ರಿಂದ 10 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ 12 ಥೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ರೀಸನಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿವೇ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಲಾಜಿಕ್, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಡೂ ವಿತ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. ಅದೊಂದು. ಪುನಃ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ RC 26. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ 42 to 45 ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಹಂಗಾಗಿದ್ರು 34ಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೂ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ 80. ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು 65ಇಂದ 70ವರೆಗೂ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ 20 ದಿನ ನೀವು ಓದಲ್ಲ. 20 ದಿನ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ? ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ 17ರಿಂದ 18 ದಿನ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ 20 ದಿನ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಕೀ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಜೀವನನೇ 18 ದಿನ ಸವಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗೋ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಪುನಃ ಪುಷ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ 12 ದಿನ ಬೇಕು. 1 ತಿಂಗಳು ಇಟ್ ಗಾನ್. ಸೊ ಸೊ ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಭಾಳ ಸ್ಕ್ವೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಟೈಮು. ನಮಗಿದ್ದಾಗ 100 ಡೇಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ 70 ಡೇಸು, 75 ಡೇಸು, 80 ಡೇಸಿಗೆ ತರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ 50 ಡೇಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸು ಗುಡ್ ಬಾರ್ಡ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗೋದು ಭಾಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬಂದು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಫುಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದಾಗ ಬರೋ ಎನರ್ಜಿನೇ ಬೇರೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು 80 ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ CSAT ಇರಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, GS1 90 ಏನೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 85 ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ನಿಮ್ದು 100 ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ದ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಒಂದು 3 to 4 ಡೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಟ್ರೆಕ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಂದೆ, ಅದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯಿತು. ಒಂದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕಿಂದ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂಥರ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡಾಗಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ 20 ದಿನ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈ 20 ಡೇಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಎ ಲಾಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ 20 ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಾಮ್ಸೆ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು 2 ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರೀಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಎ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಗೇಮ್. ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಟ್ಸ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್? ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ,
I think we've largely covered most of the topics, and I've been through the entire session, so it's been an extremely insightful, detailed. There's a lot of attention to detail that Thanmay has given to. It shows the alacrity with which his preparation has been and how he continues to be. Now, what's one thing that we generally observe with some of them who have done their preparation very seriously is, even after they have completed their preparation, they tend to stay in touch to see how the trend of question papers are and how current affairs or different aspects are being touched upon. That's something that will give you a lot of idea in terms of how preparation helps. So I hope even if few of you make the best use of it, and if all of you can make the best use of it, the next few days, the next few months can be really wonderful. Even now, if you start with much more plan and preparation, understanding wise, your next 4 months and this year's prelims can be really great. Make the best use of it. On behalf of all of you, let's give a big round of applause to Thanmay for making this Sunday a very thoughtful Sunday and something that will be really useful for years ahead. Thank you so much once again on behalf of the entire team and management of India for IAS. And before you leave, a small token of...
Was it useful? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thanmay.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಗೌಡ್ರೆ ಹೊಡೀರಿ.
Thank you so much once again. I know most of you have your second test coming up, so 2:30 we'll start the second test in the same venues. Right, Prelims doctor will write in the top floor and the others will write in the same floor here. So take a break, have good lunch, come back for the test once again. Thank you so much.
All the best.